What's up guys, Maelstrom here. If you enjoyed the video then like, subscribe and leave a comment down below so I can keep on making these awesome videos for you guys. 3 years ago, a demon fox with 9 tails appeared. When a tail was swung, it would destroy a mountain and cause a tsunami. To counter it, the people gathered ninjas. One ninja sealed the monster in a life or death battle and died himself to ensure his village's survival. That ninja was known as the Sandaime Hokage, and with his death, he sealed the powers of the nine-tailed demon fox into the body of a young boy. This young boy's name is Uzumaki Naruto. Most people in the village dislike him and consider him a pest, or worse, the Kiwabi incarnate. He's ignored because people for the most part think he is the actual demon fox. The only people who actually see him as him and not the demon itself or even just the container of the demon are the Hokage. Most of clan heads of Konoha either sympathize or are indifferent, and a simple ramen chef named Tuki and his daughter Aim. Sadly, on October 10th, Naruto would get beaten half to death by mobs of civilian and shinobi alike, even with the ambush shadowing him. Today just happens to be that day. Naruto was running through the street of Konoha as fast as his legs would carry him, which sadly was not fast enough considering there was a mob right behind and was gaining on him fast. Finally, when he could run no longer, his legs gave out and he fell right in the middle of the street. "Please," he cried out. "What did I ever do to you to deserve this?" he asked the crowd in front of him. He honestly didn't know why he would always be beaten and glared at whenever someone saw him. "What you did? You don't fucking remember killing all those innocent people, demon?" one Chunin said. "We'll show you the pain you've caused all those people," he shouted in a voice filled to the brim with malice. Thus the painful beating began. This went for almost 10 minutes until an Anbu with dog mask appeared in front of the bloody heap that was once a young smiling boy, and released a huge amount of killer intent that made the crowds gasp for breath. "You are all under arrest," he said as he summoned a dozen cage bushins to take them all in. At first they appeared to want to fight, but the killing intent stopped those ideas. Even the couple Chunin in the crowd knew fighting against an Anbu, even if they were just clones, was of no help. The crowd was quickly rounded up, and the area cleared as the Anbu went to check on Naruto and found him unconscious, clinging to life as if by a thread. He made note of the injuries, which were a few cuts on his body, a large gash on his chest reaching and gouging into his ribs, and bruises on his face along with a broken jaw. The dog Anbu decided to take Naruto to the hospital immediately, while sending another cage bushin to inform the Hokage in case the hospital staff wasn't feeling like cooperating. The next day Naruto woke up to see a white ceiling. Not knowing where he is, he quickly and yet very cautiously looked around the room and saw the Hokage was coming through the door. "You're awake now, Naruto-kun. How are you feeling?" asked the old cage. "Like I've been run over by something, Oji-san," said Naruto in an emotionless tone. "Can I ask you something, Oji-san?" "What is it, Naruto-kun?" asked the Hokage, knowing what was coming. "Well, when I was being beaten," started Naruto, making the Hokage wince at the emotionless tone as much as the word used. "One of the persons said that I killed a lot of people and everyone called me a demon." "Why is that?" finished the young blonde, his tone changing into one of slight irritation. The Hokage was baffled by the question for a minute, but knew he would have to answer the question someday. But now was not the time, so he skated around the issue and said, "You didn't kill anyone and you are not a demon." The people in Konoha are narrow-minded and bigots when it comes to certain issues. As for the reason they think you are a demon, I'm afraid I can't tell you right now, but I will tell you when you turn 12 or when you're a strong enough ninja. How about that, Naruto-kun? "Okay, Oji-san." "Oh yeah, can I join the academy to become a ninja just like you?" said Naruto in a hopeful tone. "You are not old enough to join the ninja academy, but how about I make you a deal? I will take you as an apprentice and teach you how to defend yourself, and you also don't have to go to the academy if you don't want to," said the old cage as he formed a plan to stick it to those bigoted villagers. "Really, Oji-san?" shouted Naruto happily. "Hi," said the Sandaime as he braced himself for the inevitable. Naruto jumped from the bed, gave the Hokage a big hug, causing him to chuckle at his enthusiasm. "Alright Naruto, you are free to leave the hospital once the proper papers are filled out, and we'll also start the training 1 week from now, so be prepared. Oh, and you're also going to be moving into my compound, so I help you to reach your full potential," said Sarutobi with a true smile while opening the door. "Thanks, Oji-san," shouted an enthusiastic young blonde. "You're welcome, and remember, 1 week, said the Hokage with a warm smile while leaving the room. A week later, Naruto was standing in front of the Hokage on his private training field behind the Hokage monument. The blonde was now wearing black t-shirt and a black pants with orange stripe on the side along with black fingerless glove. Naruto was wearing this because Hokage had told him that orange wasn't a color that a good ninja would wear. Okay Naruto, for the next 8 years I will teach ninjutsu and taijutsu and maybe some genjutsu. I want to make you strong enough to be able to stand toe-to-toe with at least one of the stronger ninja of this village, started Sarutobi before continuing after making sure his young charge was paying attention. I also want you to specialize in ninjutsu, fuinjutsu, and also kenjutsu. The reasoning behind my decision is that there are not many ninja in our village that are specialized ninjutsu, fuinjutsu or kenjutsu, and none that specialize in all three. I also have something very special planned for you after our training finishes, so I want you to work as hard as you can. Do we have a deal, Naruto-kun? Said Sarutobi with a smirk once he saw Naruto's awestruck expression. Deal, Oji-san, said the energetic blonde known as Naruto with a salute. 8 years later, a figure is now standing in front of the Hokage who seems to be about 5'3" inches tall. He had vibrant blue eyes and blonde hair, along with 3 whisker-like marks on his face. His face would be considered cute from a girl's perspective. The figure had ambo-like clothes, and the side of his right leg he had a hostler that is used for carrying kunai, along with a holster on his left leg for a decent-sized scroll, also an average-sized pouch for shuriken and other ninja essentials on the back of his belt. Alright Naruto, since your ninja training is now finished, I want you to become a full-pledged ninja for the Leaf, said the Hokage with a sense of pride in his unofficial grandson and greatest pupil to date. But sensei, don't I have to go to the academy to be a ninja? Asked Naruto, slightly confused. Do you really want to go to the academy, Naruto-kun? Asked Sarutobi before answering his own question. Well, even if you do want to go to the academy, I can't send you there, because you would be too powerful for an academy student, and I don't want to waste your potential learning how to do a bushin, karimi, and henge in the academy till you're 15. Finished the old cage. Okay then, so how do you suppose I become a ninja? Questioned the young blonde lazily as he yawned out loud. Well, there are special circumstances, but I don't want to waste time by explaining all that stuff. The point is that you could skip ranks by a special test that I want you to take, said the Hokage with a sly smirk. Is this the special plan you told me about in the beginning of my training? Asked Naruto with genuine curiosity. Flashback. Okay Naruto, for the next 8 years I will be teaching you ninjutsu, taijutsu, and maybe some genjutsu, started Konoha's professor before continuing. I want to make you strong enough to be able to stand toe-to-toe with one of the stronger ninja in this village. I also want you to specialize in ninjutsu, fuinjutsu and also kenjutsu. There are not many ninja in our village that specialize in any of these areas, and none who specialize in all of them. Once the training is complete, I'll have something special planned for you, so I want you to work as hard as you can. Do we have a deal, Naruto-kun? Finished the Sandaime with a smile. And flashback. Hi, so do you want to take the test? Asked Sarutobi with a knowing smile, since he knows his young apprentice would never back down from a challenge. Well, I suppose if it makes me a ninja, said Naruto with barely contained excitement. Alright, I want you be at the Chunin exam stadium at 11 AM sharp 1 week from today. There will be every Chunin, and Chunin not currently on a mission, the clan heads, and the council members in attendance to see my newest apprentice's skill. I want you to put on a show for them, since they are going to be deciding if you are strong enough to achieve a high rank or if you'll be a genin, said the Hokage. Okay, one thing though, how did you manage to make the council agree? Since I know you can't do something like this without the council agreeing, and I don't think that many if any of the council members really likes me, asked Naruto with a smirk, knowing his sensei did something sneaky. Haha, what? Are you accusing me of doing something devious or underhanded? Questioned the old cage with a look too innocent to be innocent on his face. Flashback. In the council room, several noticeable figures in the shinobi community could be seen, mainly the heads of the Hyuga clan, the Inizuka clan, the Nara clan, the Akimaki clan, the Yamanaka clan, and the Abraham clan. Also in attendance were several elders and militaristic leaders, Koharu, Homaru, Danzo, and of course the Hokage himself. The civilian half of the council were not allowed in the room for this meeting since it had nothing to do with them. This was out of their league, meaning it was purely for the ninja community. What is it you called us here for, Hokage-sama? Said the Inuzuka head, calming her usual brash and outspoken personality to fit in with the tense atmosphere. Yes, I have to get back to the compound since I have personal matters to take care of, "So can we hurry this up?" said Hayashi in his usual cold tone, though with a hint of annoyance. "I will get to it if you all will just settle down." This made everyone in the council listen carefully, since the Hokage seemed to have a serious look on his face. "This meeting is concerning the one called Uzumaki Naruto," said the Hokage, stretching the name Uzumaki, causing many groans and sighs from the council, "because no meeting about that boy is ever quick." "Are you finally deciding to hand him over to my root so we can make Konoha a perfect weapon?" said a crippled man with one eye while giving a cruel smirk. "No, Danzo, I am not giving him to the root. I mean, why would I give him to you and hamper his growth due to the simple fact that there is nothing you could teach him? Because your root is weak. Each member is low and you keep them there on purpose in case you can't control them. The only upside to it is that they are loyal to you to a fault. This is also the reason I've allowed you to keep your pitiful organization, because they are too weak to be anything more than a nuisance like you," stated the Sandaime with a firm tone while he wore a smirk hidden in the shadow of his hat at the look of shock on the council's face, and pure rage on Danzo's. No one expected the professor to say something like that to Danzo in private, let alone in front of the council. Per Newton, I know in the original Naruto story, Sandaime disbanded Root, but I decided to keep it. So for those of you who didn't know that, I wanted to inform you. "Hi Hokage-sama," said Danzo through gritted teeth, as he knew not to respond because everything the Hokage said was the truth, and to respond would just make him look like a fool. "So what is you wish to talk to us concerning Uzumaki?" said Koharu once the shock passed. "Well, you all know that I've been training him for a long time now, so I want to test him to join ninja rank higher than Genin, since to have him be a Genin would be extremely disadvantageous to Konoha, and before you even ask, I won't allow him to go the academy. He is too powerful for it and it would waste his time and potential. At his current strength I believe he would be able to take me on and have a 50% chance of winning. That's why I want to give him a test to advance instead of going through all the ranks starting at the bottom," stated the Sandaime with pride in his voice, as there was a collective gasp from all those in the room. "But Sarutobi, don't you think it's pretty dangerous to give such a young boy so much power? I mean, look what happened to Itachi. He killed his whole clan for power." "Well, except his brother," said Homaru in a worried tone. "I understand your concern, Homaru, but I know Naruto and he doesn't want power for his own selfishness. He wants to be strong and protect everyone in Konoha when he grows up. He has the will of fire that some ninjas in our village seem to lack." At this point the Hokage gazed at his ex-teammates and the Warhawk Danzo before continuing. "He is also my true pride and I believe in him," finished the aging Kage with a smile. "If that's your choice then I fully support it, Hokage-sama," said Hayashi quickly. He wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. Never did like council meetings anyway. "Thank you, Hayashi," said the old Hokage, though he had a feeling it wasn't so much faith in his Kage that helped him with his decision, or more like annoyance at having to be in another meeting revolving around Naruto. "Well then, if that's settled, then when is the exam going to be?" said Koharu, slightly annoyed at the prospect of the young blonde being so strong. Then Sarutobi said, "It will be held in the Chunin Exam Stadium in exactly 1 week from now." And flashback. "And you know, Naruto, not everyone in the council hates you. Well, except Danzo, who had asked me to make you join Root couples 100 times, so don't lose faith in Konoha yet. I mean, I know that they don't like you much, but someday they will come around and accept you. I know they will. After all, you'll be their Hokage one day," said Sarutobi with a playful edge in his old voice towards the end. "I hope so, old man, and you know I could never be angry at someone who's done no true harm towards me or my precious people for too long," said Naruto, smiling. "I know, Naruto, and remember to be prepared in 1 week. Polish your skills in this week, though don't go overboard on your training, because you're going to need your strength with the opponent you're going to be fighting. Now get out since I have a lot of paperwork left to do," said the Hokage with fear in his voice as he peered at the large stacks of paper that seemed to almost be taunting him. "You know, Oji-san, I know a way to defeat it, but I'll only tell you when you tell me why more than half of Konoha hates me." With that, Naruto shushined out of the room. If he had waited a little longer he would have seen the sad face of the Hokage, who was at the moment staring at the picture of hero of Konoha, the Yondaime Hokage. A week later Naruto could be seen heading to the stadium wondering who his opponent was going to be, and if the person was going to be a good challenge. For the past week he had worked twice as hard preparing for this day. He had spent 3 days on ninjutsu solely, and 3 days for taijutsu. Then yesterday he took the day to rest his muscles, since they were still sore from the harsh training. He didn't work on Fuinjutsu since it would really come in handy for an all-out fight. Naruto was so lost in his thoughts that he didn't seem to notice that he was already in the middle of the stadium, though he was shaken out of his thoughts when someone tapped him on the shoulder. As he looked behind him and saw some guy who was chewing on Sannin. I wonder if this is my opponent. Nah, he looks too weak. Even though Naruto wasn't the type to underestimate someone, he just couldn't help but do that with this guy. I wouldn't even need to go half power to beat him. He must be the proctor, thought the young blonde. Then as he looked around the stadium and saw the Hokage in a booth with the council members and clan heads in a nearby booth. On the other section he could see all shinobi waiting patiently for the match to start. But one person caught Naruto's eye in particular. She had beautiful red eyes, brunette hair, and the most beautiful face he had ever seen. With her could be seen another woman who was also beautiful, but not as beautiful, the red-eyed August. Also with them was silvered-haired man and Asuma Sarutobi. He then skimmed through more people and didn't seem to notice anyone he knew, so he turned to the proctor and said, "Are you my opponent? Because I don't really see anyone else beside you here," while flaring a portion of his chakra, almost causing the proctor to fall to his knees at the unexpected pressure. Rather shakily the proctor said, "No, I'm not your opponent, but he should be here any second." Just then everyone heard a girly scream and looked up to see a person falling from the sky and land right next to the proctor. After a minute of twitching the man stood up. He had white hair and had red tattoos under his eyes going down in straight line. Moments later he saw Naruto and said, "You're my opponent. I thought you'd be bigger from how Sarutobi sensei kept bragging about you." While eyeing Naruto, "If you are my opponent, then where the hell were you all this time?" I was starting to lose my patience. "And why the hell did you fall from the sky?" "Well, you see, I was searching to see if there are enemies in Konoha, and I suddenly encountered a dangerous foe, and after fighting a couple of minutes I finally managed to defeat the foe, but before I land the fatal blow, the enemy he used an incredible taijutsu move to make me fly, and that's why I was late," said the new rival with a proud look that he was able to save face in front the crowd. Naruto, not believing the story, said, "Is that why you have slap mark on your face?" Just then the man gave another girly scream and shouted, "Hey, I told you it was a powerful attack," crying in anime style. A minute before, the same man could be seen spying on the women in the hot spring before he felt an evil aura, and looked back to see a group of women who had dark auras surrounding them. They then screamed in unison, "Why, you little pervert, prepare to face divine punishment." And the leader slapped him so hard that it sent him flying 3/4 of the way across Konoha. Present time. "So now that you are here, what's your name?" said Naruto, immediately regretting his question. The man then did a crappy dance while summoning a large toad under him and said, "I am the protector of weak and eliminator of the enemy, for I am Jiraiya the Toad Sannin," causing everyone in the stadium to drop, and Naruto said, "Okay then, now can we get started with the show already?" This made Jiraiya say, "Why are you so anxious to get your ass handed by me that you can't wait?" with a smirk before it was returned tenfold by the young blonde before him. "Whatever, Ero Sannin," remarked the young man, causing a tick to appear on Jiraiya's forehead. Just then, before Jiraiya could retort, the Hokage rose from the seat and said, "Shinobi of Konoha, today we'll be experiencing a battle between two of my students, Jiraiya the Toad Sannin and my new apprentice Uzumaki Naruto. This battle we will be judged by the council and I to see which rank he should attain. So enjoy the show, because this might be a fight you will never get to see again and most likely will never forget," loudly stated the Hokage before announcing for the proctor to begin. "Proctor, start the match." Naruto and Jiraiya was facing opposite of each other and the proctor was on the side of the field, and he said, "Okay, the rules are that you are simple, no killing each other. I will call match if I see one person is unconscious or unable to continue due to injuries. Now are you two ready?" "Hi," said Naruto and Jiraiya in unison. "Hajime," shouted the proctor. Up in the stand, 4 people were conversing quietly with one another up in the stands. What was Hokage-sama thinking, letting a 12-years-old kid fight a Sannin? I mean, I know he might be strong since he was trained by the Hokage, but he can't be strong enough to go up against a Sannin. And Jiraiya-sama is said to be the strongest of the Sannin," said the women with red eyes. "I am not so sure about that, Kurenai. I saw that kid spar with my dad and he seemed pretty strong to me. In fact, I am pretty sure he would be able to fight Kakashi and have a good chance of winning," said the bearded man smoking a cigarette, making everyone who heard him go wide-eyed. "That's impossible, Asuma. Everyone knows that Kakashi is considered one of the strongest Chunin in the village. The only people who might be able to go up against him and win is Guy, well, and of course Hokage-sama would beat him. But my point still stands, he's strong and this kid is 12, said Kurenai in a voice full of disbelief, making Asuma chuckle. Well, we'll just have to see, won't we? My dad seems pretty confident in his student, or otherwise he wouldn't pit him against Jiraiya-sama, said the amused chain smoker as he lit up again. Well then let's just watch the match and see what the kid's got, said Kakashi in an amused tone. Back to Naruto and Jiraiya's fight. As soon as the word Hajime had been said, both Naruto and Jiraiya jumped backwards, pulling out kunai and tossing them at each other. They met each other right in the middle of the arena with clang as metal hit metal. Then they both leapt forward at speeds that no ninja below Junin could see clearly. Then after landing at the same time they both threw a right jab at each other, connecting in the middle. Once both fists hit the ground beneath their feet crumbled from the pressure, and both fighters struggled to overpower the other. Seeing as neither could overpower the other at the moment, both jumped back and Jiraiya started doing hand seals and said Katen, Hosenka no Jutsu fire style, art of the phoenix flower, which was avoided easily by a burst of speed. As fight continued, both fighters exchanged crippling blows for several minutes. Jiraiya, sensing this was going nowhere, decided to go all out, and then moved at blinding speed unseen by most people except the elite ninja watching. Naruto was easily able to see it but wasn't fast enough to dodge the punch that sent him flying into the stadium wall. As Naruto stood from rubble, he had a split lip which was quickly healing, and a couple of rips in the shirts, though that was the full extent of his injuries. Then with a glance at Jiraiya he smirked and said, "So you finally decided to go all out, huh, Jiraiya-sama? Well then it seems that I don't have to hold back." And with it he put his hands in Rem seal, causing a vortex of chakra to swirl around him. Then with a shout of Kaien, suddenly seals connected to each other appeared all over his skin, making everyone who recognized it go wide-eyed, including Jiraiya. Sandaime was the only one not surprised, as he suppressed a smirk and whispered to himself, "So you finally decided to show your true strength, eh, Naruto-kun?" In the stands, Kurenai and her female friend were confused, because they never seen anything like it. This made Kurenai look at Anko with a confused look on her face and say, "Hey Anko, do you know what's happening? I've never seen anything like it in my life." "Well, don't ask me. This is first time I've seen it. Maybe it will give him power like the Snake Freak's curse seal," Anko spat out as she subconsciously rubbed her neck. Kakashi, deciding to answer the question since he knew it was better to prevent any mishaps that may happen if Anko thought Naruto had any connection to Orochimaru, said, "Anko, that's not a curse seal. What you're seeing right now is a highly advanced gravity seal that hasn't been seen in 12 years. The last person to use this type of gravity seal was the Yondaime Hokage himself. This is because there haven't been any seal masters that could make such a complex seal like that. I don't know how he got his hands on seal like this, but from the amount of them I'd say his speed and strength are about to go through the roof. He made them himself." Asuma decided to cut in casually while opening up another pack of cigarettes. "What?" screamed out Anko, Kurenai, and Kakashi simultaneously. "He made those seal from a rough sketch and description from what the Yondaime made. It was his final test from my father to see if he was worthy of the title of Seal Master. This kid is a ninjutsu, taijutsu, and fuinjutsu specialist, and is about to start advancing his skills in Kenjutsu sometime soon. Hell, if I had to guess from what I've seen and heard my dad mention, I would most likely place his fuinjutsu skills about as good as the Yondaime, maybe even better," said Asuma, smoking his cigarette like nothing he said was any big deal, when secretly he loved seeing the shocked looks on his comrades' faces. "Damn, I wonder how good this kid really is," said Kakashi in shock, because he's considered an advanced seal specialist himself, but even his skills pale in comparison to his late sensei. "Well, we'll know if the Gaki is strong as you claim if he manages to beat Jiraiya-sama, but I doubt it," replied a still awestruck Anko. As the chakra around Naruto died down, the young blonde looked at Jiraiya before saying, "Let's begin then." After getting a nod from Jiraiya, the fight was back on. As Jiraiya was about to go into his defensive fighting stance, he quickly found it harder to do than he thought when Naruto's fist connected to the side of his face, delivering a jaw-shattering punch that made everyone's lower jaw drop as they thought that Jiraiya's jaw was broken after that punch. What they didn't know though was that to the old pervert it felt like a love tap compared to when his old teammate found him peeping, and he only lost a couple teeth. "Damn, I was caught off guard, and didn't think he would be this fast. He's a lot faster than me, but I should be able to keep up since I've got 40-some years experience on the Gaki," thought Jiraiya as he spat out 2 teeth. Naruto then sped toward Jiraiya before he jumped up and brought his leg down while saying, Sorahagi no Setsunai painful sky leg which Jiraiya luckily blocked, but not completely as there was an audible cracking sound coming from both forearms. Jiraiya wins thinking with a bitter laugh, shit, the brat is physically stronger than me too. What's next? Is he going to use a jutsu that would make him so fast that I won't be able to follow? After being beaten up for a couple minutes he was finally able to get accustomed to Naruto's speed, and make use of his experience to dodge a little over half the blows thrown at him while only landing one or two. They stopped as suddenly as they started on opposite sides of where they started, both looking slightly winded, Jiraiya more so than Naruto. Naruto thinking that he had enough of taijutsu and wanted to see what the legendary Sannin had in his ninjutsu arsenal and asked, well, it looks like we are both about equal in taijutsu with your experience versus my speed and strength advantages, so why don't we test our ninjutsu? Which caused Jiraiya sigh a breath of relief as he knew he wouldn't last as long if they continued on with taijutsu and it would look bad for him to be the first to resort to ninjutsu and say, well, if that's what you want then let's see what you got, Gaki. Then both fighters jumped up in the air and started doing hand seals, which to most people seems like a blur. Suddenly Naruto called out, Futen, Rinkuden wind release, drilling air bullet which was countered by Jiraiya's, Futen, Daitapa wind release, great breakthrough which was completely ineffective due to the overwhelming power of the Rinkuden, seeing as it isn't the signature move of Shukaku for nothing even if it wasn't as strong as the demon can do. Naruto then went through more seals at a speed that was but a blur to all but a few of the spectators before shouting out Raiden, Dangan lightning shot as Naruto thrust his right hand forward after announcing the name with his index and middle finger pointing outward towards Jiraiya, and a ball of lightning shot out of the fingers going straight for Jiraiya. Thinking on his feet, Jiraiya made some quick seals and said, Doten, Dangan earth shot. He quickly dragged both of his hands on the ground, knocking two chunks of earth came out and flew as Jiraiya tapped them, quickly shot them at the lightning ball heading toward him. The two attacks collided and the ball of lightning went right through the first earth ball and detonated as it hit the second, knocking up dust and debris blocking the spectators' view momentarily. Everyone in the stadium suddenly heard the sounds of metal clashing and flesh hitting flesh when a few seconds later two jutsu were launched one before the other. Doten, Doriwuden earth release, earth dragon projectile, shouted Jiraiya after doing a few quick seals and sent a large dragon made of earth straight towards the young blonde. Sensing the large amount of chakra being molded by Jiraiya and immediately started up his own set of hand seals, drew in a huge breath of air and shouted Katen, Karyu and fire dragon flame projectile while he blew out a huge dragon made of fire that roared to life, dissipating the dust as it flew straight towards the fast-moving dragon made of earth. The two collided and blew up against each other, shaking the stadium. Everyone in the stadium had to cover their faces from the small pebbles flying up and hitting them, as well as from the heat given off by the intense flames. When the dust settled, the entire arena was reshaped. The middle where the two attacks had met had molten rock instead of the normal flat ground. Everyone present looked for the two fighters that were going at it, only to hear clash after clash of metal above them. During the mini aerial, Naruto landed a kick on Jiraiya's chin, sending him rocketing towards the ground. Then he quickly started to do more hand seals and shouted out, Katen, Gokkaku no Jutsu, great fireball technique, while utilizing his immense chakra reserves, and used 5 times as much chakra as normal, thus creating an extremely large ball of flame heading at the quickly falling Jiraiya. Noticing the huge fireball heading right at him, Jiraiya quickly used a simple Karimi no Jutsu to replace himself with a discarded kunai from earlier. After seeing the gaping crater left after the fireball hit, he was even more grateful for not trying to counter it. Once again both fighters stood in the center of the battlefield. Jiraiya was missing his vest and the rest of his top sliced up. His Jita looked about ready to break into splinters, along with several cuts, contusions, fractures and missing teeth, while Naruto was in far better condition, only having a few cuts caused from glancing blows, and his shirt was slightly shredded, showing off an amazing body for a 12-year-old, making more than a few girls blush. But other than that he was only slightly winded. With a smirk, Naruto said, "Okay Jiraiya-sama, I think we should end this now. What do you think?" Knowing that the Gamma Sannin would jump at the chance to end this soon, since he was quickly losing face as he was manhandled by a kid, Jiraiya sighed before covering up his exhaustion with a smirk and said, "Agreed," as he held out his right hand and formed a ball of pure chakra that seemed to spin in numerous directions. This action caused several people who recognized the jutsu, quickly whispers about how Jiraiya having to resort to that jutsu. Those who didn't recognize it decided to ask about it. Kurenai herself had never seen the attack before and heard Kakashi gasp in surprise, so she decided to get some answers. Kakashi, do you know what that jutsu is? That's an A-rank jutsu created by the Sandaime. That jutsu was feared among Iwa shinobi above all else, considering how many of their ninja died by that jutsu during the war. It just took about 3 years for the Sandaime to create, and after he finished it he taught it to Jiraiya-sama, said Kakashi. Along with me, though I never did learn the third step. He thought. This made Anko and Kurenai go wide-eyed, thinking there's no way that Naruto could win against a jutsu like that, as well as thinking of how strong the kid must be to make Jiraiya resort to that jutsu. So you are using Rasengan against me, huh? Said Naruto with no small amount of enthusiasm in his voice at the prospect of facing that jutsu. Oh, you know the name? Then you should also know how powerful this jutsu is, right? Mocked Jiraiya as he held the spiraling sphere of chakra in his right palm to his side. It may be powerful, but I also have my own jutsu that I created, and I've been itching at testing it against the Rasengan. You will be the first person to experience it firsthand. Even the Sandaime doesn't know the full extent of its power, said Naruto with unwavering confidence in his voice. This piqued Sandaime's interest since he too wanted to know the true extent of the jutsu. Naruto then started doing 10-hand seals so fast that even Sharingan would have trouble following, though even if they did they'd only have half of it since he dropped half the seals as to prevent it from being copied. As he stopped he held his right hand up towards the sky where a cloud formed in the sky, making it seem like it was already nighttime, when suddenly Naruto was hit by a powerful black lightning bolt which created a crater around him. When it died down, Naruto's whole right forearm and hand could be seen covered by black lightning, forming a rough cone shape at the tips of his fingers. Gaki, do you think a Raiden jutsu like that could defeat a jutsu like Rasengan? You should know that this jutsu has chakra spinning randomly in over a dozen different directions that even if you broke through it would only lose stability and send gale force winds towards you, shredding your arm with your own attack. So I must ask you, are you a masochist or are you a complete moron? Said Jiraiya, smirking. Everyone in the stadium was thinking along those lines. Multiple Abraham clan members were thinking that it was very logical. Well then, why don't we just find out if your theory is correct? Said Naruto with a knowing smirk. Before speeding towards Jiraiya at a level of speed Jiraiya could only guess was about as fast as his old student was when he first became a Chunin. Quickly shaking those thoughts from his mind, Jiraiya quickly charged as fast as he could towards his young opponent. Both fighters then moved their right hands back before thrusting them forward with all their strength. Before both jutsu connected they called out simultaneously, Raiden, Nato no Kami, God of Night Lightning, while Jiraiya called out Rasengan Spiral Sphere. When both jutsu met each other in the center of the arena they created a huge amount of whirlwind with streaks of black lightning swirling about both opponents. Then suddenly Jiraiya's Rasengan gave out and became wild once Naruto's jutsu penetrated the outer shell. The resulting explosion happened as the Toad Sannin predicted, until things reversed. As the Rasengan became unstable, Jiraiya expected it to turn the black lightning back towards Naruto, ending the match, though instead it just dissipated. Once Naruto's attack broke through the Rasengan he redirected it towards a major nerve cluster in Jiraiya's chest, before blunting the attack as to not kill the old pervert. Once the now blunt black lightning encased arm struck the chest, a surge of intense electricity went through his body, making let out an unearthly yell, AARRGGGHHH, making the crowd shudder at the power just displayed, and at the fact that it caused one of the combatants was in agony. A minute after the dust cleared out, Jiraiya could be seen laying unconscious on his back, twitching violently with a huge burn mark the size of Naruto's fist on his chest, along with his hair standing on end, and earwax melted and running out his ears. Then one could look at Naruto and see him panting heavily after having just used a quarter of his remaining chakra reserves, which was only actually 1/8 of his original reserves on that jutsu alone, which is still more than the average Chunin has total, with a slightly burnt and smoking right forearm and hand, but otherwise unhurt. Up in the stands everyone was shocked at the show of power and speed. None of the spectators other than the Hokage, Madogai, the higher-ups in the Hyuga clan, and Hite Kakashi with his Sharingan could even slightly follow their movements. The rest of the people were staring in shock at the young blonde, thinking how the hell a kid could even keep up with a Sannin, let alone defeating him. Kurenai summed up everyone's thoughts. Amazing. People who heard her couldn't agree more with her as they just nodded their heads in the affirmative. The Hokage was the first one to break out of his thoughts and said, Ahem, Gemma-kun, can you please announce the match? Ah, right Hokage-sama. The fight between Uzumaki Naruto and the GAMA Sannin Jiraiya SAMA has ended and the winner of the match is Uzumaki Naruto by knockout. After the announcement, everyone started cheering for Naruto. Even the most die-hard Naruto haters cheered. After all, it's not every day one sees a clearly cage level. The proctor motioned for the medic man to come and take both fighters since Jiraiya was still out like a light, and Naruto seemed to be on his last legs because he had reactivated his gravity seals, which took a good portion of his remaining chakra. In the Hokage booth, Koharu said, "You raised another powerful shinobi, Sarutobi. What's that now for cage level students? You've made a wise choice with this one, Sarutobi. He's this strong at such a young age and has nowhere to go but up." Everyone there couldn't agree with Koharu more with that. "I know. Okay, now we'll be meeting in 3 days from now in the council office to discuss what rank he should attain," said the Hokage with a proud smile on his face before he shushed out of the booth. 3 days later, council room. Everyone ranging from elite Chunin and up were in the council room waiting for Jiraiya, the Hokage, and Naruto to arrive. Then the door opened and in came the 3 people they were waiting for. The Hokage took his respective seat while wearing his traditional robes, while his 2 students followed and stood in the corner. The room took note of the attire they had on, noticing Naruto wearing his casual clothes consisting of some black jeans, white tank top and black Jita shoes, and looked completely fine, like he hadn't just fought a cage level opponent 3 days beforehand. Besides him, Jiraiya stood with his upper body wrapped in bandages along with some on his neck and arms, with a new red vest over top of them, and otherwise dressed the same. When everyone was settled, the Hokage started saying with a smirk, "Alright, everyone here has seen the battle between Naruto and Toad-san and Jiraiya, and it seems Jiraiya lost quite badly if I do recall." Getting a glare from Jiraiya and some snickers from the Junin and a smirk from Naruto. "Today we are here to decide which rank Uzumaki Naruto is to receive due to him passing his test with flying colors and is now qualified to skip going to the academy and can become a ninja of any rank we decide here today," started the Hokage while trying to gauge the reactions of the assembled ninja, and was quite pleased that none other than Danzo had any hate in their eyes regarding Naruto. Then continued, "Now I will go through rank from Chunin up, and anyone who supports the rank suggested will raise their hand and I will take the majority vote to decide his rank," said Hokage before starting the rank selection process. "Alright, all those in favor of Uzumaki Naruto promoted to the rank of Chunin?" No one except Danzo agreed on Naruto being a Chunin. This wasn't due to the fact that really wanted a free-thinking powerhouse like Naruto in root. No, it's because he would love to lure his rival's student away from hopefully creating an opening for him to take advantage of. Unfortunately, seeing no one else agreed, he frowned at his plans being foiled yet again. The Hokage ignored his vote. "Anyone in favor of Naruto Uzumaki promoted to Junin, speak up now." This time only one elder and some Junin agreed, which made the Hokage sigh in frustration, before going to the fallback option. "Since no one seems to agree with my terms, I will start with Hashi-san's opinion." "Which rank do you think Naruto should achieve?" asked the old man. "Well, Hokage-sama, with the skill and intelligence young Naruto showed to not only keep up with, but to defeat a Sannin, let alone the strongest one, I would say he should receive the title of a Sannin, seeing as with Orochimaru's betrayal we are one ninja short of actually having any Sannin. And while I'm quite aware that it's not a title we can give since it was Hanzo-san who gave it to them, though I think he'd more than agree to the boy deserving the title over a traitor, should he have still been among the living." This made majority of the people in the room go wide-eyed for multiple reasons, first being that they just realized Konoha has been without the Sannin for over a decade, and secondly, while they all knew he deserved the title, they never would have guessed Hayashi would have been the one to bring it up. The Hokage and Jiraiya smiled at that, both knowing it's a great choice, as keeping a ninja of Naruto's potential locked up in the village only leaving for missions would only hinder his growth, and with the title of Sannin one gains special traveling rights that can only be revoked in a time of war. The Hokage then looked at everyone and said, "Do all those here agree with that?" Most of the people said without a second thought. "Well then, congratulations Uzumaki Naruto on receiving the title of a Sannin and all the benefits that comes with it," said the old Kage with no small amount of pride in his voice, as he gazed upon the smiling face of his young apprentice. Naruto smiled and reined in his excitement until the meeting could come to a close, because an outburst in front of so many important figures would be frowned upon, before saying, "Arigato Sarutobi-sensei." "Well then, now that it's settled, the meeting is adjourned, and Naruto, I want to meet me at the tower tomorrow to receive your gift from me to you." as a congratulations on becoming a Sannin, said the Hokage with gently smile. Hi sensei, said Naruto, and everyone left with that. Most couldn't wait to spread the news about Konoha finally having a complete set of Sannin. After the meeting, Kakashi was walking by the best dango shop in town with his face buried in a certain orange book, when suddenly he heard someone call out his name. After a quick look from side to side, he noticed Anko, Kurenai, and Asuma were sitting down in the dango shop with few other people conversing about the event that took place 3 days ago in the stadium. He then casually walked up to them and said, "Yo, what are you guys talking about?" "Hello Kakashi, still perverted I see. We're just talking about the fight between the kid and Jiraiya-sama, and feeling heart, Iruka, and Ibiki in on the details on the fight," said Kurenai with venom in her voice as she mentioned perverts. Iruka, why are you here since I know you didn't take a mission?" asked Kakashi to a man who had a scar across his nose. "Well, you see, at that time I was teaching the academy students since most of the teachers left to watch the fight," explained Iruka in a bitter tone since he heard it was one hell of a fight and he missed it. "Kakashi, they were going to decide which rank Naruto earned last night, right?" asked Asuma, earning a nod from the scarecrow. "You were there, right? I mean, it's not like you're gonna miss something like that seeing its direct connection to the Sandaime. So can you tell us if he made Chunin or Junin?" finished Asuma. His question made everyone listen carefully, anxious to know the rank of a shinobi who had defeated a Sannin, let alone the strongest of the Sannin of all people. Most people were wondering solely to see if they might be able to work with the kid, especially Kurenai and Anko, who both thought he was really cute and likely to turn into a real looker as he grows. Kakashi couldn't wait to see the look on everyone's faces, so he put his left hand on his headband and said, "Well, the majority of the people on the council didn't want him to be either Chunin or Junin." This earned him more than a few questioning looks from everyone present before he then said, "So Hokage-sama asked Hayashi-sama for his opinion first." Hayashi then said that he wanted Naruto to be the last Sannin, and everyone ain't the council agreed, said Kakashi, quickly bringing out his Sharingan to memorize the look on their face. Priceless, thought Kakashi while smiling under his mask. Everyone had their jaw on the floor, and after a couple of seconds later Asuma finally spoke up. "Yo, you aren't pulling our legs, are you, Kakashi?" asked Asuma, who was baffled by Kakashi's response. "Why, yeah, I mean there are already 3 Sannin, so it would be weird to have another Sannin and still call them Sannin and not Yonin or something," retorted a confused Iruka. "Did you guys say something?" retorted the copy Nin, making people sweat drop while he was still smiling under his mask. Kurenai, enraged by his idiotic answer, punched him in the back of the head and yelled, "Baka, answer the question already!" "No, I am not pulling your leg, Asuma." He was elected as the new Sannin, and for your information, Iruka, Orochimaru lost his title the day he abandoned Leaf. So now Naruto is elected to fill his place, and we all know that he deserves it, if his battle with Jiraiya-sama was any indication, concluded the perverted Junin with a smirk while rubbing the lump on his head. Anko smirked and said, "Well then, I guess next time we see the Gaki we'll have call him Naruto-sama, now won't we?" Deciding to pull her legs, the one-eyed Junin said, "Wouldn't you like that, Anko?" This earned him a glare from a slightly blushing Kurenai and an intense blush from Anko before she snapped. "What the hell is that supposed to mean, Kakashi?" shouted the snake mistress while hurling dango sticks at the pervert's crotch, causing him to hide behind Ibiki, who casually caught them all like it was an everyday occurrence. "Oh, nothing at all." With that he rushed off before she got serious and started throwing kunai, because even Ibiki has a limit to what he'll do for a comrade, and getting between them and a pissed off Anko with a kunai is way past that limit. The rumor about Uzumaki Naruto being the 3rd Sannin spread like a wildfire. Civilians didn't really care since they thought it was only a rumor, while the shinobi section knew that it was most likely the truth since most of them saw the match 3 days ago and the rest at least heard about it. And they were all actually kind of happy to know that Konoha produced another strong shinobi and finally had its 3rd Sannin. They were also hoping that Naruto doesn't end up like Itachi and go nuts killing everybody. Noon at the Hokage Tower. Naruto and the Hokage could be seen in front of a huge vault that was filled with hundreds of different kinds of jutsu. Naruto was in awe by the sheer amount of jutsu in one place, since he never had the chance to see this place. Even if he was the Hokage's apprentice, he would usually get scrolls from the Hokage to practice on his own. The only time his sensei would help him was during taijutsu training, since instruction was key to learning taijutsu. In the vault there were 5 different sections, each section labeled as taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, kinjutsu, and Kenjutsu. This got Naruto excited since he wanted to be a master of Kenjutsu since he loved the feel of a blade in his hands, but he never got to learn anything beside the basics of Kenjutsu considering the fact that the Sandaime was only proficient in Kenjutsu and not good enough to teach someone who wishes to become a master of it. Sensei, since you said that I should be a Kenjutsu master, how come I never got to learn anything beside the basics? Asked a confused Naruto. The old man then looked at Naruto and smiled before saying, you see Naruto, the reason I only taught you the basics is because I want you to create your own style of Kenjutsu that could only be considered unique to you. So I taught you the basics because you'll use them to build your style up from there, which is what any true Kenjutsu master has, his own style. Now do you see why I only taught you the basics? Asked the Hokage, getting a nod from Naruto. Then the Hokage started to walk toward the subsection of the ninjutsu section, which contained the summoning contracts of Konoha. The section had all the summoning contracts not currently being used. As if he wanted one of those, he'd need the current contract holder's permission. Okay, Naruto-kun, this is my gift to you. You may now pick one of the 4 currently unused summoning contracts, as every Sannin has their own summon animal. The ones to choose are the boar, the bear, the bird, and the lizard. As Naruto looked at them, he couldn't help but feel a pull to the corner of the room. As he approached the corner, he noticed there was a small dusty scroll on the shelf. Slowly picking it up, he dusted it off and saw the kanji for Phoenix. It was the contract for summoning the Phoenix clan. Sensei, I chose this one, he said casually while waving the small scroll in the air. Okay Naruto, which summon is that? Asked the old man. Phoenix was all Naruto said, making the Hokage look at him in shock. Noticing the shock of his sensei, he asked, what's wrong sensei? I think you should pick another summon Naruto. All of the previous holders of Phoenix contract died. They couldn't pass the test given by the boss, and in return they were burned to a crisp, he said before looking at Naruto with a worried look on his face, since he knew Naruto was never one to back down from a challenge. Naruto-kun, you are amazingly strong, but are you strong enough to pass the test is the question? Thought the old Kage. I was drawn to it sensei. I don't know how to explain it, but I know that I meant to have this. So I guess I'll be the first holder of the Phoenix contract who lives to tell the tale. Now won't I? Naruto said with a confident smirk on his face, and a voice full of pure guts and determination, making his sensei sigh. If that's your choice Naruto, then let's go to a safe area away from Konoha for you to practice the jutsu, said the Hokage in a resigned tone, knowing there is no way to talk the blonde out of this when he's like this. With that, both left in a swirl of leaves. With Naruto and his sensei standing in a clearing about 10 miles outside of Konoha, the Hokage told him to take out the scroll and write his name in blood on the scroll and his bloody handprint on it. Naruto opened the scroll and saw the names of about 10 people written in blood that was now black, so he assumed they were hopefuls who failed the test given to them. He then proceeded to cut his thumb and write his name on the scroll and put his handprint on the bottom of it. Naruto closed the scroll and quickly sealed it in his carrying scroll, before he stood up to look at the Hokage. Alright Naruto, now I want you to do the hand seals for Kakios. Then mold a massive amount of chakra. I'd say a quarter of your reserves could summon 3 Gamabuntas, and he takes about the most chakra to summon of all the summon bosses. Then you'll find out if you pass the test exactly how much to use to summon the boss. Then place the hand you used on the contract to where you want to summon, explained the aged Kage. Naruto nodded in understanding, then went through sets of seal, gathering a massive amount of chakra, then slammed his right hand in the ground shouting, Kakios no Jutsu. Suddenly a 40-foot in diameter section of the clearing was set ablaze, making the Hokage hastily jump out of the way to avoid being burned. Under Naruto's feet a portal made of fire opened up, and from it rose what seemed like a giant bird made purely of fire. But if you look closely, there could be seen the bird was actually inside the fire, and Naruto was standing in the midst of the fire on the mighty bird's beak. Under Sarutobi's keen eye he estimated the mighty phoenix stood at a large 150 feet, and as it flapped its astonishing 225 feet long wings twice, the fire vanished from the ground and the bird showed itself. When its foot touched the ground, it trembled under the bird's size. Now as the bird took in its surroundings, it folded its mighty dark red wings with orange feathers sticking out into a casual position. Its brilliant orange feathers covering its body calmed down and laid back, and its once flaming tail feathers came to a rest. On top of its head were 3 red feathers set vertically. The phoenix then moved its gaze to look at Naruto with its surprisingly crystal blue eyes, took in the appearance of the one who summoned it before speaking. "Are you the person who summoned me from my slumber?" When Naruto replied with a nod as he didn't trust his voice due to his amazement, the phoenix continued speaking, "My name Raijin, the head of the Phoenix clan. If you want the help from my kind, you need to pass the test I shall give you," stated the phoenix as if reading off a script. "So what is it I have to do, Raijin-sama?" asked Naruto as humbly as the proud boy could, which wasn't very humble as he held a raw determination in his eyes and voice. "Look into my eyes, boy, and tell me, what do you plan on using the power of my kin for?" asked Raijin as he peered into Naruto's soul with glowing cold blue eyes. "I sense no corruption. He may be the first aid." "What's this? A demon, huh?" It appears to be the Kiwabi and he's desperately trying to taint the boy Mazing. He's keeping the taint at bay subconsciously. He truly is a remarkable child, thought the mighty summon as Naruto spoke. "I plan on working with them to protect all those precious to me, as well as this village. Even though they shun me for something I had no control over, I will protect them all, because I am a Sannin of Kono Hagakure no Sato," said the blonde in a voice overflowing with grit and determination, as if daring the beast to question his answer, which he believed in with his whole heart and soul. "Alright boy, you passed the test," replied the great winged bird. "If I may ask, Raijin-sama, what was the test?" asked the young blonde as he tilted his head in confusion. With a tremendous chuckle, Raijin responded, "Well, hatchling, that was a test of your soul." Upon seeing the boy still not truly understand, he sighs and continues, "If I sensed your soul was corrupt in the slightest way, or your answer untrue, I would have destroyed you. You passed cause your soul is pure, an answer true, which is a must among my clan. Now I have a gift for you, hatchling. Roll up your left sleeve," finished the great bird. Once Naruto complied, a feather drifted from the summon's brow, before landing on the blonde's forearm. Seconds later there was a red flash and the sound of flesh burning before Naruto was engulfed in his own chakra for several moments, until he fell from the phoenix boss's beak hastily to the ground. Approximately halfway through his descent, the blonde was caught by a large feather, before drifting towards a worried Hokage. Upon seeing the look of concern from the old man, Raijin decided to tell him what occurred. "Old man, the hatchling will be alright. I just applied my clan's unique summoning tattoo. Though I'm quite surprised, that tattoo is unique to my clan. It has a storage, so to speak. He will be able to fill its reservoir with chakra, and that is what happened. It forcibly took all the chakra it could handle from him while leaving him alive. This will allow him to summon us by merely applying blood to it and choosing the amount he wishes to use. The reason I'm surprised is that Mark can hold enough to summon me 5 times, and counting that he already summoned me, plus the tattoo itself taking about half as much as it takes to summon me just to be applied. So I'm surprised he had that much chakra in him." "Arigato, Raijin-sama," thanked the Hokage, getting a nod from the summon. He then looked at Naruto to see him sleeping peacefully with a new addition to his arm. "Until next time," said Raijin, disappearing in large swirl of fire. Moments later, just before the Hokage was about to leave the area, a squad of Anbu appeared in front of him. All the Anbu members kneeled in front of the Hokage, followed by the captain, who wore a bear mask covering his face, standing and said, "Hokage-sama, are you alright? We felt that huge chakra spike from here while on patrol and decided to come check it out, and just finished checking the perimeter." "Also, what happened to Naruto-sama?" "I am alright, Captain. As for the chakra spike, it was Naruto-kun. He took and passed, I might add, the test of his new summons boss," responded the Hokage, whose voice was full of pride. "If you don't mind me asking, Hokage-sama, which summon did Naruto-sama choose?" asked a woman with purple hair and cat Anbu mask. "Of course not. Naruto picked the Phoenix contract and became its official summoner today," the Sandaime said casually, wishing he could see the looks on all their faces, because at this all the Anbu had their eyes wide since they never heard of such contract. "I would love to stay and chat, but I have to take our newest member of the Sannin to the hospital." With it, the Hokage shunned out of the clearing while the Anbu continued their patrol. The next day, Naruto woke to see a white ceiling, making him groan since he recognized where he is at the moment. "Damn, I think I should get my own room here, and maybe move in, seeing as I spend the majority of my time here when I train," thought Naruto while his mind wandered off thinking about the time when he was injured practicing jutsu. while subconsciously rubbing the new addition to the underside of his left forearm. His sensei would always find him beaten up and unconscious in the training field from overworking himself. Getting out of his trance, Naruto decided to go to the bathroom and freshen up so he could get out of this place. As he washed his face, he noticed the tattoo and recognized it as a summoning tattoo. Though it was strange, he sensed a tremendous amount of chakra coming from within it. Shrugging it off as something to ask his sensei about later, he walked out of the bathroom only to see his sensei sitting in a chair while reading a certain orange book. When Sarutobi saw Naruto, he quickly put away his book, hoping Naruto didn't see it. "There is no point in hiding it, Iro-sensei, since I already knew you read those perverted books," said Naruto, making the Hokage's left eye twitch because of the nickname his student gave him. "So where is Sannin?" questioned the blonde while looking around the room. The Hokage giving him a questioning look and said, "Who might that be, Naruto?" "Why, Jiraiya-sama, of course. I decided to give him a nickname as well, since he's the one who writes that smut you read." At that, Sarutobi's sweat dropped, and wondered how Naruto came up with these names. "Why do you need Jiraiya, Naruto?" questioned the Sandaime curiously. "Oh, no reason. I just wanted to call him Iro-Sannin," said Naruto, smiling, causing the Hokage to face fault after hearing that. "So, why are you here, sensei?" asked the young blonde in confusion. "Let's go to my office so we can speak in private." With that, both sensei and student shushed into the Hokage's office, where Naruto was now sitting in a chair in front of Hokage's desk, who was smoking from his pipe with a solemn look on his face. "Hey sensei, I have a question," said the young blonde, trying to cut the tension in the room with a question. "What's wrong, Naruto?" asked the old Hokage, glad for his student to break the uncomfortable silence. "What's with the massive amount of chakra in the summoning tattoo?" asked the young Sannin. "That well, Raijin said that the tattoo has a special feature unique to his clan. The tattoo has a chakra storage. This enables you to fill it up and keep it full so you don't have to waste your chakra during battle. All you need to do is apply blood and release the amount you want to use. And so he said that it can hold enough to summon him 5 times, so you'll need to use 1/5 of the chakra in it to summon him," concluded the professor as he looked at his slightly bored student. Then with a sigh he continued, "Once applied, it took a large amount of chakra to set, then forcibly took as much chakra as it could from you, which happened to be enough to fill it up, though it left you drained." "Yada, I passed," shouted the young blonde, which made the old man chuckle and remember that as powerful as the boy is, he's still a boy. I guess from now on I'll be known as Konoha's Fanakusu Sannin, huh?" Have asked the young blonde. The Hokage chuckled. "Yes, Naruto, you'll be known as that from now on." Now, on to what I was officially going to tell you. As a Sannin, you are able to do many things that normal shinobi aren't able to. A Sannin immediately assumes control of soldiers on a battlefield as the highest rank, except when the Hokage is present at the scene. Sannin usually take on an apprentice as a way to pass on their legacy, but I don't think you'll have to worry about that since you've got a long time ahead of you to worry about that. They are also able to leave the village for as long as they want, but will be considered a missing ninja if not heard from for longer than for about a year, or if they refuse to return when sent for during wartime situations. They usually attempt to get information on threats to the village when opportunity arises, unless you're Jiraiya, in which it's basically his sole duty other than his writing. So you see, Naruto, if you want to leave the village you could, but you have to keep in touch with me every once in a while," said Sarutobi, earning a nod from Naruto. "Is there anything else you to tell me, sensei?" said Naruto, annoyed by the fact that his sensei is still not telling him about that when he was sure that now that he was a Sannin, his sensei would come clean. Hokage, not knowing what Naruto was talking about, said, "Not anything I can think of right now," completely oblivious to the giant tick over Naruto's right eye. "Oh, I don't know, maybe you could at least tell me that the reason I'm hated by most of Konoha is because of the Kiwabi being sealed inside me," calmly said Naruto with a hint of annoyance in his voice, making the Hokage stare at Naruto in shock. He had totally forgot about that. "But how did you know about that, Naruto?" shakily questioned the Sandaime. "Kamun-sensei, you actually thought that a seal master like me wouldn't notice a gigantic seal on his stomach?" said the blonde in a mock-hurt tone, while grabbing his heart and adding, "You wound me with your lack of faith in my abilities, sensei." "I see. So how long have you known?" asked the Hokage with a massive sweat drop due to the uniqueness of his student. Naruto sighed before he said, "Probably about a year and a half ago. My shirt got burned practicing a jutsu, and when I molded chakra I saw the seal on my stomach. And after some research I found out that this was the seal made by the Yondaime and sort of just connected the dots from there. So, "You're not mad, Naruto?" wearily asked the old Kage, somewhat afraid of the answer. "Well, at first I was, but then I got over it. I chose to accept my destiny." "I do have one question though." "Why me?" asked the young blonde. Sarutobi had a sad face at his question, but decided to answer. "You were the only baby that was born on the day the Kiwabi attacked." The Yondaime would have used some other alternative, but there was none at the time, so he decided to use a newborn baby to seal the Kiwabis away, explained Sarutobi. "But what about my parents? Why did I never know them?" At that question Hokage cringed, which Naruto noticed but decided to. "I am sorry, Naruto, but we never found out who your parents were." Sarutobi lied, which was also noticed by Naruto, but he didn't press the question since he knew his sensei was a better liar than that, so he knew there was a reason for him to lie so badly. Naruto then took out a kunai and threw it at the ceiling, causing someone to fall from there, and that person just so happened to be Jiraiya. After landing in a heap he quickly got up and said, "Oh ho Naruto, as good as ever I see." Naruto, deciding to screw with him, said, "No, not really. You just suck, Sannin," causing Jiraiya's left eye to twitch and start mumbling about youngsters these days have no respect for elders or something like that. The old Kage chuckled at his students' antics, but decided to calm them down. The only way he knew how. If the voice settled down now, you too, he said in a voice that promised punishment if they disobeyed. After that they both looked up and he continued, "So Jiraiya-kun, what are you doing here?" "I need to leave today since I haven't been able to do any research in Konoha, because someone commissioned a squad of Anbu-kunoichi to patrol the hot springs," said Jiraiya while sporting pathetic look of defeat while rubbing a phantom pain in his lower regions, while also glaring daggers at the snickering new Sannin. "Really, now I wonder who would go and do a thing like that," said the young blonde in a mocking tone. "Ahem, right. Let me know what you discover in your research and do it fast." "I don't like waiting," said the Hokage, and the Chibi Hokage was currently dancing around saying yay. Next stop, Icha Icha Paradise Volume 10. Before Naruto decided to cut in and ruin his happy dance, said, "By research you mean picking on women then getting the hell beat out of you, don't you, Sannin?" Before getting a hit over the head by Jiraiya, making his eyes widen slightly before he quickly schooled his features into a fake smile. Jiraiya then yelled, "Baka, don't call me that." "Why not? You are a pervert, aren't you?" asked Naruto curiously while using his pinky to clean out his ear due to the pervert's loud yell of indignation. "I am not a pervert, I'm a super pervert," yelled proudly said super pervert, making his sensei and new teammate sweat drop. "Reet, well, back to business. I'm going to leave Konoha for a while, sensei," casually stated the young blonde, making both Jiraiya and Sarutobi look at him oddly. The Hokage then asked what was on both their minds. "Why so sudden, Naruto?" "Well, I want to create my own Kenjutsu style, which will take some time, and I want to get out and spread my wings. Don't worry though, I'll be back to see the hopeful genin due to graduate in 3 years, since most of the clan heirs are in that batch. And I also want to see someone special," Naruto said with a blush while thinking of a certain red-eyed woman. This got him a curious look from both the perverts in the room. "Well, Naruto, I finalized your Sannin travel rights earlier today, and so you're all set to go anytime," said the Hokage in a bitter tone, since there was a large amount of paperwork involved in Sannin travel rights. Naruto then got up and headed towards the door before looking back and said, "I guess this'll be last time I see you in few years, Ni-sensei." "Hi, Naruto," said a sad yet proud Hokage. "Well, Yanni." With that the blonde closed the door and left. "He'll grow up to be stronger than his father, won't he, sensei?" asked Jiraiya, getting a nod from Sarutobi. The next morning Naruto could be seen jumping houses speeding towards the main gate. He was kind of sad that he wouldn't be able to see the red-eyed woman for some time, but knew that he could see her in a couple years, depending on when he finishes his training. As he jumped to the ground and walked up to the front gate, he saw two Chunin talking amongst themselves, not even noticing him. This caused him to sigh, as he wasn't masking his presence at all, nor was he trying to be stealthy at all. "Ugh, some gatekeepers we have here," thought the blonde as he made his presence known with a loud ahem, making the two shinobi look up. The one with a white cloth that went across his face said, Naruto-sama, sorry we didn't see you there." "It's okay guys, but can you be a little more vigilant please, and open the gate for me?" asked Naruto before getting nod from both. And when they opened the door, the Chunin with long hair that covered his left eye and face asked, "Are you on mission, Naruto?" "Well, I guess you could say that. So I'll see you guys in a few years," said Naruto with a smile before he vanished from sight in a burst of pure speed. "Where do you think he's going?" asked the cloth-covered Chunin. "I don't know," said his friend. Neither knew that Konoha wouldn't be seeing the Fanakusu Sannin, Uzumaki Naruto for 3 long years. That's the end of this part, guys. If you want the next part, then like, subscribe and leave a comment saying so. This is Maelstrom signing off.